Men are not lonely enough.
Men are not lonely enough. We haven't gone far enough. They need to be lonelier.
Male loneliness. Nobody gives a fuck.
Men are not lonely enough, and that is what I have learned in a year of dating.
Men aren't lonely enough.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to part 18 of our Old Hag series. Today we'll dive into these women who are struggling to find high-value men and keep ending up on dates with simps who just want to score. Consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. Let's get started.
Men are not lonely enough. Last night, this guy who had been following me on Instagram for a while, but I had never hung out with, we'd tried to make plans like months ago, but he had all these excuses and I just didn't care enough. He hits me up last night trying to make plans for this afternoon. Whatever, why not? He's then like, cool, let's do 4:30. I'm like, great, works for me. He immediately follows up with, yeah, by the way, I'm really physically affectionate, just letting you know I'll probably want to kiss you, blah blah. Bear in mind, I've barely spoken to this dude. I've never hung out with him. Don't even know if I like him. So that kind of threw me off. So I left it for the night, slept on it, messaged him at like 7 o'clock this morning. Hey, I know you probably didn't mean anything by it, but it kind of made me a bit uncomfortable. So don't really want to hang out.
Men aren't lonely enough is the battle cry of a woman furious that her boredom killer turned out to be a human being with a libido. She agreed to this date with the enthusiasm of taking out the trash, yet acts violated because he didn't want to play the role of the sexless orbiter she assigned him. It's pure narcissism to demand total respect from a man she admitted she didn't even care enough to reject properly.
This is where it starts to go downhill. He laugh reacts my message and then unsends the message, basically telling me he's gonna kiss me. Bro, that makes absolutely no sense considering I've already seen the message and replied to that message. He then replies saying, thank heavens for that, laughing face. Like, bro, you're the one who asked to hang out with me. I replied with lol, okay, and then he just starts talking to himself and going off the rails. I lost my job at the end of last year, right? But I've recently just signed a new contract and I start my new job next week, which he knows all this, by the way. But his next message is, well, it's no good look for me anyway, considering you have no job and you've already been used. He then says, I thought I could just get in the door that's already wide open. Disgusting. What the fuck? It's giving the same vibes as a guy asking a girl out, her politely rejecting him and him being like, oh, I didn't even want to go out with you, you're ugly anyway. How is your ego that fragile that when a girl politely declines to hang out with you, because I don't owe you anything, by the way, you are so sensitive that you have to go and attack her, demean her, basically call her a slut? I dodged a fucking bullet. Men really aren't lonely enough. Good lord.
Dumpster diving in the simp pool is the inevitable result when high-value men have permanently revoked a woman's access to the VIP section. Entertaining a low-tier orbiter proves the desperation to settle for scraps just to feel seen, yet the spiral begins the moment even the safe option rejects the offer. That wide-open door insult cuts deep because it forces an admission that market value has plummeted to zero. Screaming that men aren't lonely enough is just a dark confession that they need to be broken and desperate enough to overlook massive baggage. It's a harsh wake-up call when even the guys considered beneath notice refuse to walk through the entrance.
Last night I went on a date and I told the man that I was on the date with that I believe that men are a liability for women. And I gave him all the reasons why I believe that so. I also told him that I don't believe it's a woman's job as a wife to clean the house and cook because that's manual labor. I told him that there has to be a better reason for women to get married than access to intimacy because women always have access to intimacy. It doesn't matter how old we are. Even if we're unmarried, we can easily find intimacy. To summarize, I basically told this man to his face on the first date that he is useless to me unless he makes himself useful, and that he could never expect any trad wife crap from me. So why did I say these things to this man? Because as we were talking, I felt like he could handle it. He seemed emotionally mature, and it seemed like he knew who he is and what he wants. Not all men are like that, and for some men, subtlety is necessary because they get offended so easily. But this man actually agreed with me, and I feel like he took it as a challenge. And by the end of the night, I feel like he was obsessed with me.
You know the entire story is bullshit the moment she claims he got obsessed after being told he's a liability who's only good for utility. It's wildly delusional to think a man hears I offers zero domestic value and takes it as a romantic challenge rather than a signal that she's an easy, low investment hookup. He wasn't falling in love, he was simply calculating exactly how little effort he needed to put in to get her back to his place, since she already admitted she gives up intimacy easily.
I say this to remind you that there are emotionally intelligent men who are masculine, who also adore intelligent women. These masculine men are not intimidated by intelligence, and they actually search it out because they know it will benefit their lives in the long run. If you consider yourself to be an intelligent woman, then a man like this would make a great husband for you. But it takes a lot of dating to find men like this because they're kind of rare. Until you are married, you are absolutely single, so keep dating until you find the man who loves you for the things that make you special.
Framing emotional intelligence as a willingness to be insulted is just a manipulation tactic to keep women single and combative. High-value men don't search out women who treat marriage like a business transaction, where the man pays for the privilege of being disrespected. She's not finding a husband with this strategy, she's just auditing a series of guys who will nod, agree, and then ghost her the next morning.
Men are not lonely enough. We haven't gone far enough. My friend goes on this brutal first date. And at one point he says, I'm really into art. He brings it up. And she's like, that's so cool. Like, that's such a cool hobby. What kind of art are you into? He does not bat an eye. He says, I like art of women crying. And she was like, why would you tell me that? And he was like, I like the way it makes me feel. No, they need to be lonelier.
Extrapolating one interaction with a wannabe villain to condemn the entire male population is the definition of unhinged hysteria. It's wildly narcissistic to think one bad date justifies wishing loneliness on 4 billion men, rather than simply admitting her friend has terrible taste. She's not spotting a pattern, she's just using a sample size of 1 to fuel a victim complex that absolves her of ever having to choose better partners.
Back in my whore days, right? I was fucking with this one dude. And, you know, he was doing this a little bit. And he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, okay? Wasting my fucking time. I'm over here faking the shit, whatever. And then he was like, oh, I want you to squirt for me. Oh, yeah? So I literally pissed on his hand. I didn't give 2 fucks, okay? You want to act like you know what you're doing, right? You want to fucking rush me, bitch. I'm going to piss on your hand. I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to watch you lick your hand after, thinking that you made me come, bitch.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Sometimes I wonder why I'm single, and then I remember the time a guy I was talking to brought me flowers just because, and my immediate knee-jerk response was to go, wow, what ex-girlfriend taught you that one? So maybe I'm the problem.
And women say men aren't lonely enough, yet she just proved exactly why guys are choosing solitude over being punished for a simple act of kindness.
This is a story about a man who I was once basically dating, told me why he would never date me. Back when I was 22, I met this guy through a friend and we just sort of hit it off. And we ended up embarking on a classic situationship for 5 or 6 months. We would hang out all the time. He took care of my cat when he was just a brand new pupper, kitten. We would text all the time. We became dating without the exclusivity label. It was I don't know, 5 or 6 months in, we were just laying in bed. We were talking about dating, just in general, and the people we've dated, etc. We knew about each other's exes, etc. And we were just having a nice time chatting. And then he goes, yeah, but I wouldn't date you because you're hot, but you're not hot enough.
Calling a 6-month situationship basically dating is the coping mechanism women use when they're merely a placeholder. She gave up all the benefits of a relationship without securing the commitment, effectively auditioning for a role she had zero chance of landing. It's brutal, but he kept her around because she made it convenient, not because she was indispensable.
I rolled over and was like, did you really just say those words to me out loud in this space? In my home. In my home. You said, I'm not hot enough for you to date. Meanwhile, this is a man who's like fucking balding, has like a no job. That's a whole different discussion. But it's really like the audacity of these men to say these things. Whether or not I am hot enough to date is irrelevant. You don't say that shit. So anyway, he looks much worse now, and I am in a happy relationship. And that's the story of how a man told me that I would never be hot enough to date him, even though we were dating.
Attacking his hairline and employment status is just the standard female response to having her ego shattered by raw honesty. He didn't say she wasn't attractive, he explicitly stated her beauty wasn't high enough currency to purchase his freedom. It's pure delusion to claim they were dating in the final sentence when he literally just explained why that never happened.
Dating after divorce is just a whole other beast. I had so much fun in my 20s dating. I was in my Samantha Jones era, if you know what that is. I went on over 100 first dates. I should have done a podcast back then. Maybe I will now. It's not too late to start writing a book or do a podcast on my dating series. But what do you mean I have to ask you what your favorite color is or what do you like to do? I was a wife and I gotta do this again? Can we just cut to the chase and you tell me if you've ever been to therapy or how your parents failed you? I wish I could just ask them to take an EQ test. If I could talk to their therapist or their ex-wife or their ex-girlfriend and better understand why they're single.
Bragging about a Samantha Jones era with over 100 body counts is just a public admission that she spent her prime years accumulating baggage and destroying her ability to pair bond. It's wildly arrogant to demand a stranger submit to a psychological audit on date 1 just because she feels above the basic human decency of small talk. She's annoyed that she has to actually be likable again instead of just being a wife who's contractually owed attention.
Yeah. If anybody asked me if they could talk to my ex-husband, I would 1,000,000% give him his phone number. Because I know what he has to say. I just can't believe I'm here dating. I didn't get divorced so I could date again. My ex-husband got divorced so he could date again. And he's doing that. Pay a babysitter so I can go on a shitty first date? No, ew. It's so hard. I have to go through the muck to hopefully find something good. Because I do love love, and I am ready. But I don't want to go on these apps. And I work from home, so unless the Amazon guy wants to date me, single moms and dads, post-divorce, what are you doing?
Admitting her ex divorced her to date again while she's sitting at home miserable is the ultimate self-own. He escaped the prison she built and is finally enjoying his freedom. The only reason these guys are matching with her is that dating app photos don't come with audio of her complaining about how much she hates the process. She's waiting for the Amazon guy because she wants a husband delivered to her door like a package, paid for, convenient, and easily returned the moment he stops serving her.
Men are not lonely enough, and that is what I have learned in a year of dating. Yes, hi, I'm Alice. I'm a literary agent. I usually talk about books and publishing, but oh my God, they also have not clocked that they are not competing with each other for our time. Certainly in my case, you're not competing with another man for my time and my attention. You are competing with me and my hobbies and my family and my friends and my dog and my little flat and my little TV shows and my silly little books and my job and the 2 companies that I run and the little TikTok hobby that I do and the very full life that I lead without you. That is what you are competing with. I can live without you. I don't need you. And that is what you people are not realizing, is that women don't need you. Maybe we want one of you around, but we don't need you. I will very happily do a video about all the reasons why I have blocked a man this year. I was having a conversation with my client earlier, and she was sending me some of the screenshots of things that have been said to her, and I was like, oh babe, this is nothing. And I told her some of the stuff that has been said to me, and she was like, let me know if you would like more insights into the absolute insanity that has been my dating year. Bye.
Listing her silly little books and a dog as formidable opponents isn't a flex. It highlights that she has filled the void of a family with consumerism and distractions. She arrogantly demands a man fight for the scraps of attention she has left after her little TV shows, effectively telling him he will always be less important than a Netflix rerun. Screaming, "I don't need you," while actively dating for a year, exposes the desperate reality that she wants to be chosen, but lacks the humility to make space for a partner. Men aren't failing to compete, they are simply realizing that fighting a pet for intimacy is a game only a loser would play.
You know what I think is the absolute worst in the dating world? It's not when someone is a complete a-hole right off the bat, or they tell you they want to hook up and nothing more. Those people that are honest from the get-go, those are the winners. The people that I can't stand are the ones that are on their best behavior in the beginning. They're doing all the right things, planning dates, checking in with you, texting you quickly, all the things. And then one day they decide, I'm done. I can't handle it anymore. I put on the charade long enough. I'm done. This is not who I am. Those are the people that suck. Because I think that when you're dating, you should just put it all out there at this age and just say, hey, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. And you can weed through people a lot quicker instead of wasting someone's time. God.
Calling standard courtship a charade is just a convenient lie to protect her ego from the reality that she failed the probationary period. He wasn't faking his interest when he planned dates and texted back. He was actively vetting her, and once he saw past the surface, he realized she wasn't worth the maintenance cost. She wants men to take it or leave it instantly, because she knows that the longer a high-value man evaluates her, the more likely he is to walk away. He didn't trick her, he just finished the audit and realized the asset was a liability.
Listen, ladies, don't make the same mistake as me. Take my advice. Don't fuck with the players, because the players know how to play the fucking game. And players gonna play till they see the next day. Okay? The players have got it down, bro. The players will kiss you on the hand. They'll kiss your face, your eyes, your forehead, the top of your head. They'll hug you. They'll cuddle you. They'll embrace you. And you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, stop doing that. I kind of like you. You don't say it yet, right? You're like, I don't know what's happening, but I have these gushy-washy feelings. And then they'll even tell you. They'll be like, I like you. You're cool. I really like spending time with you. And you're like, okay, I have to tell you something. I really like, and they're like, no, don't. And you're like, what? They're like, we're just friends, dude. Homie, my bro, we just friends, bro. I use your hole. You my bro. What?
Describing yourself as a whole reveals exactly why he categorized you as a bro rather than a wife. He didn't need to be a master manipulator to fool you. He just offered the bare minimum affection required to keep a low-value convenience available for late-night use. You aren't a victim of his game, you're just a willing participant who sold out too cheap and is now angry that the buyer refuses to pay extra after the deal is done.
Can I say that dating really sucks? Like, just when you think it's doesn't suck, it really does suck. And probably because, like, we all have different needs that need to be met, and we're all at different stages of being single. And I know, like, I've had, when I was kind of freshly single, I just thought to myself, like, I need to find somebody because I'm meant to be somebody's wife, right? So, like, I got to get out there. And not really realizing I probably wasn't very healed. And I went on some dates with some really fantastic people. And of course have some regrets about some of that stuff, just because I think there was some great people that were in my past as well. But I just wasn't there myself, and they probably weren't there themselves. But now, you know, I've been single for a while, and I've done my journey, and I feel the best I've ever felt. And just when I think, like, I'm okay with getting out there and I could really date, God damn it, it is fucking difficult. Excuse my language.
Admitting to sabotaging relationships with fantastic people because of being unhealed is a classic confession of squandering prime years on self-imposed chaos. The market has harshly corrected now that the claim of being ready is finally made, and the frustration stems from high-value men refusing to line up for the leftovers that were previously discarded. It's entitlement to think the world paused and waited while the journey took place.
So for me, and we all have our different love languages or whatever that is, I really need to connect with somebody. Like, I'm looking for my best friend. And so I want to converse. I want to talk to people. Like, I want to talk to somebody. I want to know that they think of me. I want to know that they've got that zing sort of thing, right? Like, they can't wait to talk to me again.
Demanding a zing and constant communication reveals a desperate need for a fan club rather than a partnership. Expecting a grown man to wait by the phone like a giddy teenager just to provide a dopamine hit is narcissism masquerading as connection. Real relationships are built on shared values, not on the exhaustible resource of constant attention.
And I think that once you've had somebody like that in your life, like, let me say the last guy I dated, man, he set the bar. Like, it's so hard to date after somebody just was so intentional that anything less than that is just, really, like, And so every time I start talking to somebody and it's just like such a lull or or they want to talk about sex right away, and like, don't get me wrong, like, I've definitely had my moments too where like you're just really lonely and that shit comes out and it's hard to dial that shit back.
Being alpha widowed by an ex who set the bar guarantees failure because every new prospect is being audited against the romanticized ghost of a man who left. That intentionality wasn't a standard. It was likely a love bombing tactic used by a guy who had options and exercised them by walking away. The bar is high only because the ego refuses to admit the perfect guy didn't think the relationship was worth keeping.
But I also know that stuff doesn't work for long term. Like, if you just want to go out and do whatever, like, that's your thing. And we all have that. We have all gone through that. I can't even deny it, right? But to actually have that connection and date somebody, like, I hate talking about that at first because I feel like it goes right to that and it just stays there, right? You can't actually connect to someone's soul when all you're talking to is their dick, right? Like, that just doesn't work.
Gatekeeping intimacy now after admitting to giving it away freely during lonely moments in the past is the ultimate bait and switch. Men instinctively know that this sudden demand for a soul connection is just a newly erected paywall for a product that was previously handed out for free. It's insulting to ask a high-value man to jump through hoops that the guys from the past never had to see.
So, I don't know, like, dating for me is just so difficult. Because I just feel like so many people out there are just wanting that instant gratification, or they're too busy, or they just don't have that intention. Or you've got to chase them and you've got to message them and you got to do it. No. Like, I really think that if somebody genuinely wants to date me, they're going to reach out and they're going to, put in some effort. And I tell you, I will match that 1,000%. But this day and age dating, so difficult and so discouraging sometimes. But I also do believe there's somebody out there for all of us, and it's kind of just that patience thing. But man, in the meantime, sometimes you just get that ick.
Claiming to match effort 1,000% while refusing to lift a finger to initiate is a blatant lie designed to mask a paralyzing fear of rejection. Sitting back and judging men for not trying hard enough while offering nothing but the ick in return is exactly why the calendar remains empty. The patience thing is just a coping mechanism for the reality that no one is coming to save a woman who brings nothing to the table but demands.
I made a mistake. I got back on the dating apps. Someone please tell me why these men, I'm sure women do this too, but why these men match with you and then don't say anything at all. And I'm specifically talking about men because I'm dating men, not women. So I'm not here bashing you, dudes, if women are doing this to you too. I am just here sharing my experience. So calm down before you start typing some chaotic message in my comments. Why? What is the point of matching with me to then say nothing at all? Can anyone explain this to me? It makes zero sense to me. Even if I say something first, I'm happy to be like, hey, Jonas or whatever, say something back.
Men swipe right indiscriminately to maximize efficiency, then ruthlessly filter out the liabilities once the match actually connects. Silence isn't a glitch, it's a polite rejection from a guy who took a second look at the profile and realized the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Preemptively silencing criticism in the comments proves that deep down the answer is already known. You weren't chosen, you were just part of the bulk sweep.
Hi. Get ready with me for work while I just ramble about, oof, it's loud, men in dating in this day and age. It's like impossible, I feel like lately. Every person that I meet that I'm just like, oh, this could, it can't, it won't. It just is all about sex, I feel like. And they just want to start talking about it immediately. And like, hey, your girl, I know that people on this app know my daughter, so I'm not going to go into it. But I can get down with that absolutely when it's time. Like, why are we so rushing to it? Why is it like the second we start talking, 1 day, 2 days in, it's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, bro, I don't even know you. I've met you once. I haven't even kissed you. Like, what are we talking about? And then if you were a top tier woman as I am and you set that boundary and you're like, hey, I kind of don't want to talk about this immediately. Like, let's hang out, see where it goes, and then we can, maybe get there.
Self-proclaiming top-tier status is the hallmark of a delusional narcissist trying to inflate a plummeting market value. If every single man immediately pivots to sex, it's because that's the only value she projects, and they can't imagine tolerating her personality without a physical payoff. High-value women don't have to negotiate for respect. They command it effortlessly without saying a word.
And they're like, yeah, I agree. I'm like that too. I agree. Let's just do that. Deal. I respect that. Then, next thing you know, fucking crickets. Like, cool. You were up my ass like white on rice for 3 days talking to me every second, wanting to know all this stuff. But the second I tell you I'm not going to engage in that type of activity, now all of a sudden, oh, I'm so busy. I've been on the go all day. I got this and I got that going on. Oh, cool. But you didn't have that going on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday when you was trying to talk about that. Okay. I get it. So my lesson, I gotta fix this hair. My lesson of the day is, unfortunately, you can't believe anything that they say, and you're better off being single for a while because we need a new batch of boys or men. These guys just aren't. There's not anywhere. Okay. Love you. Bye.
The crickets she hears aren't from men being busy. They're the sound of her being ruthlessly categorized as not worth the wait. He agreed to the boundary to be polite, but walked away because a top-tier headache with no intimacy is a bad investment. Blaming the batch of men is pure coping. She's just angry that her personality wasn't enough to keep him around once the sex was taken off the table.
Can anyone else relate to dating in your 50s? Is so terrible and confusing. I saw a guy on TikTok post how he always contradicts himself, and I started laughing because I said, that is so me. I mean, I am emotionally available, but yet I'm not emotionally available. I feel like I'm independent, but yet I'm codependent. I am not a needy person, but yet I am a needy person, meaning I need attention, but I don't want you to smother me. I want a relationship, but yet I enjoy being single. I want somebody to spend time with, but I don't want to spend all my time with you. So I don't know. Does anyone else have this issue, or is it just me?
Admitting to being a walking contradiction at 50 isn't a quirky personality trait, it's a terrifying warning label that screams, stay away. Listing independent but codependent proves she hasn't resolved a single issue from her youth and now expects a man to navigate her emotional minefield for free. Demanding attention while refusing to be smothered is just a selfish way of saying she wants a pet, not a partner. Dealing with a woman who wants the security of a relationship but refuses to give up the selfishness of single life is a torture no man should ever sign up for.
Guys, I don't think there's actually any normal single people left on this earth. Right? Because why? Single men on this earth, right? Because why? Today, some man messaged me on one of those horrible apps and said, I said hello, whatever, and then went, do you want to be a wifey and would you like to be a MILF? And I was like, okay, well, I'm bored, so I'll just continue this conversation. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And he goes, well, how many kids would you like? And I was like, well, at least 2. But no more than 3, because that means then you'll have to have an ugly car. And then he goes, well, it might have to be 4 because of the amount of sex we'll be having. Like, fuck off.
Complaining about the lack of normal men while openly admitting to using them as digital toys to cure boredom exposes the toxic entitlement rotting the modern dating market. Engaging with a MILF opener explicitly consents to the sexual frame, so feigning shock when he actually makes a joke about sex is just performative victimhood. The goal wasn't a connection, it was finding a free clown for entertainment, and the outrage only started when the clown tried to close the deal.
I really want to talk about the very particular pain of wanting love so badly and just not finding it. Because I feel like right now, a lot of the rhetoric around love and dating and relationships is that women don't need men to have fulfilling lives. And if you say you want romantic love with a man, you're anti-feminist or giving into the patriarchy.
Modern feminism has brainwashed women into believing that a basic biological imperative to pair bond is actually a betrayal of the sisterhood. Admitting to wanting a husband shouldn't be a revolutionary act, yet she's terrified of the patriarchy label while her soul starves for male leadership. It's a self-imposed prison where the price of empowerment is a lifetime of lonely nights and political correctness.
And I want to be very careful talking about this because I don't believe that you need romantic love, that you need a partner for the rest of your life or a marriage or a family to have a fulfilling life. I actually really disagree with that. But I also disagree with telling women that pursuing romantic love and desiring romantic love from a man is something to feel shame over. And I think anyone who's on this app saying those things would respond by saying they're not shaming, but by reiterating the idea that you're weak or whatever for wanting romantic love. That's exactly what you're saying.
Hedging the statement with, I don't believe you need a partner, is just a safety net to protect the ego in case she fails to get one. Deep down, she knows a fulfilling life without a family is just a cope, but she has to mouth the script to avoid admitting that her career and hobbies are poor substitutes for a legacy.
I have never been someone who is like a relationship person. I didn't have partners in high school, really. I didn't date that much in university. And I went through a lot of my own problems in my life with addiction that really prevented me from being able to authentically connect with people romantically. So at 34, almost 35 now, I deal with a lot of grief of missing out on those early, like young adult experiences that a lot of people have. The experiences that shape how we view ourselves and how we view our worthiness and how we approach love and romantic partnership in adulthood. And it's very hard because you end up feeling left behind. You end up feeling like you've missed out on something, and you can't contribute to conversations about romantic love, and you don't have any of those experiences to pull from.
Wasting the prime years of fertility and beauty on addiction isn't a tragedy. It's a choice that comes with a non-refundable receipt. Arriving at the dating market at 35 with the emotional intelligence of a teenager means trying to play in the major leagues with a t-ball skill set. That grief isn't for missed experiences. It's the crushing realization that the value was burned when it was highest, and now she expects a high-value man to bail out a depreciating asset.
And then all of a sudden, you're 35 or whatever, and you want it and you don't know how to get it, and you can't get it because the dating climate is so bad right now. And so I think a lot of us, and myself included, succumb to this very jaded feeling and, inner monologues and narratives about, well, fuck love, fuck romance. I don't need a man or a woman or anybody. All I need are my friends. And if I'm going to die alone, whatever. It can feel very comforting to lean into that because, well, it's like classic anxiety. You're preparing yourself for the worst, even though we know the worst thing in the world is not being single.
Blaming the dating climate is the ultimate deflection for a woman who brings nothing but baggage and trauma to the negotiation table. Adopting the fuck love attitude is a preemptive strike to reject men before they can reject her, masking the fear that she is simply unchosen. It's safer to pretend solitude is a preference rather than facing the reality that the market has deemed her a liability.
And I guess I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but what I want to say to the people who are struggling with romance and struggling with wanting love and feeling shame about that desire. I spent a long time wishing the desire away. And I think that makes it a lot fucking worse. And I just want more of us to feel more comfortable talking about wanting love, because for some reason, admitting you want love feels like the worst thing in the world. It feels so embarrassing, but we have no trouble admitting we want to further our career, or we want to widen our friend group, or I don't know, we want to learn how to cook. Especially as women, I feel like we're told that wanting and desiring love means that you have to work for it. And somehow that means that we aren't being chosen and we aren't worthy of it, when really so much of like meeting someone you fall in love with is luck and proximity. What I'm trying to say is, I think if we all just got more used to the idea of being comfortable in the wanting and in the desire, it would make living with that more hopeful and less shameful. And that's what I have to say about that.
Attributing successful relationships to luck and proximity is the final lie of a loser who refuses to compete. High-value women don't rely on a roll of the dice. They cultivate value, discipline, and femininity to position themselves to be chosen. Normalizing the wanting without emphasizing the working for it is just begging for a participation trophy in a game where the only prize for losing is dying alone with cats.
When you're over 45 and re-downloading the same old dating apps and it's the same lineup. Girl, the way online dating hits you with deja vu should honestly be illegal. You open the app and it's the same men from 2 years ago. Same smile, same profile, same exact trout they've been holding like it was a newborn baby. And then if they have the audacity to say, just looking for a fresh start, sir, your fish has been fresh longer than your dating approach. Meanwhile, I'm out here as a single mom of 3, scrolling through these profiles like, God, is this a punishment? So, if this felt a little bit too familiar, hit a like and follow because I have 29 more days of online dating chaos coming your way.
Mocking the inventory while shopping in the clearance aisle is a masterclass in cognitive dissonance. Seeing the same men isn't a sign of their failure. It confirms that the viewer is circling the exact same drain, only with the added anchor of 3 children. Ridiculing a man's fresh start is rich coming from a 45-year-old mother seeking a financial rescue mission rather than a genuine connection. The algorithm isn't punishing anyone. It is simply accurately matching the leftovers because high-value men do not browse the single mom section for a serious investment.
So I just have to rant for a minute, if that's all right. I normally don't talk on TikTok, like I do funny videos or like lip sync or whatever, but I am just absolutely appalled right now, and I just have to speak on it. Like, so I literally have gotten 3 text messages tonight from 3 random guys that have my number. That I'm so associated with them, whatever, not like friends, like just kind of met them like in the last couple months. Never have gone out with any of them, never have like went on a date or anything like that. But the audacity that these guys today think that it is just okay to immediately text you, like right out the gate, hey baby, want to come over? Like, you want to come ride this stick? Or, like some bullshit. Like, the fuck? I am 45 years old. I have 2 children. I have a grandchild, okay? I have been single for about 6 years. I was married pretty much my entire adult life. Married twice, divorced twice. Not planned that at all. But I've been single for about 6 years, and I'm a very positive person. I'm a very happy person. I'm like the life of the party sometimes, I guess. I get along with everybody as much as I can.
Receiving sexual solicitations from 3 separate men in one night isn't an accident. It's a clear indication of the specific easy vibe being broadcast to the world. Flaunting a history of 2 divorces and a grandchild at 45 doesn't inspire men to court. It signals high baggage and low future value, making her a prime target for guys seeking low-effort fun. Being the life of the party is usually just a nice way of saying loud and accessible, and these men are simply reading the room exactly as it's presented.
So I just was sitting here and I was thinking, at first I didn't think anything about it, but then the second one messaged me out of nowhere. And then a third message. And it wasn't like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day going? How's work? So nice to meet you. Would you like to go on a date? Anything like that. It's just right out the gate. Do I have I want to have sex with everybody on my forehead, or text me for sex? I don't give that vibe at all to people. So I don't know where that comes from. But I'm just like, is this what this really world is today, a dating area? I'm good. I'm good. I'm so good by myself with my cat and my dog. I'm good. Because that shit is so disrespectful. And I just texted all 3 of them back and said, I really would appreciate it. If there was a hi, how are you? But a fuck you even would be great. But, don't come at me like that. I'm 45 years old. I think we're good. How about you go find you somebody that, is young and sprung maybe. Maybe I'm just being old and grouchy. I don't know. But either way, your thoughts? Because I ain't having it.
Claiming to be baffled by the disrespect while actively texting back every single offender proves an addiction to the drama rather than a genuine desire for peace. A woman with actual standards deletes and blocks. She doesn't waste time negotiating the terms of her rejection or asking for a fuck you just to extend the interaction. Retreating to the cat and dog safety net is just the standard coping mechanism for a woman realizing her market value has shifted from wife material to last call.
Good morning. I want to talk about dating and get some perspective on those of you that are in the dating world or know of people in the dating world. So I just find that the men that I have encountered seem to be very bitter and angry about their ex-wives, the alimony that they had to pay or the child support that they had to pay. And I'm a single parent, so I raised both my kids on my own. Their dad was in prison, so I didn't have any support. So preaching to the wrong choir there. And my view is you're half the parent. You were there. your obligation doesn't end because you get divorced, you know? So, like, just deal with it. And it's not first or second date conversation. It's just not. Like,
telling men to just deal with being financially gutted by the family court system while casually admitting she chose a prison inmate to father her children is peak hypocrisy. Men aren't bitter without cause. They're traumatized by a system that actively destroys them, whereas her struggle was entirely self-inflicted by breeding with a criminal, dismissing their valid financial ruin as mere complaining while she boasts about raising kids solo, only because she picked a felon, shows a staggering lack of empathy and accountability.
down the road, if you're going to date further, then maybe you want to talk about it. But the bitterness, the angerness, I don't understand that. I don't like the low effort, you know, like not planning the date, approaching someone and asking them out on a date. Like, what has changed? Because it wasn't always like this. Like, what has changed? And I know it's not just in our age group, because I work with a lot of millennials and Gen Zers. They complain about the same thing. That's very hard to find someone to date. The low effort, the young people want older men or women, and the older men or women seem to want younger. I'm constantly approached by men in their later 20s and early 30s because they're frustrated with the women in their age group, you know, being obsessed with social media and wanting all these gifts and being taken care of.
Believing that men in their 20s are approaching her for maturity rather than an easy, low-stakes hookup is a level of delusion that borders on comedy. Those young guys aren't running away from high-maintenance young women. They're running toward a desperate older woman who they assume will be grateful for the crumbs of attention and requires zero actual investment. They aren't looking for a wife. They're looking for a practice round that doesn't demand a ring or a future.
This stage of my life, this is what I want. I want to go out with someone, laugh, have a good time, have private time, possibly travel together. That's it. I don't need anything else. I want someone who is honest and loyal and fun and drama-free. I mean, things are going to come up, and I have no issue with tackling things together for in that stage of the relationship. But to be dating 5, 6 women at one time, I don't want to be on your roster. I don't want to be on your lineup. Good for you. Go enjoy that. Play the field. Kudos. But that's not what I'm looking for. And I'm not going to settle for anything less. I settled before and it bit me in the ass, and I don't want to do it again. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think I'm being unreasonable. I don't think that my expectations are so high. We all have flaws. I have flaws. I'm not perfect. At this stage of my life, we've all lived a very long life, so we all have things that we can always improve on, and I'm willing to do that with the right person and have that flexibility with the right person. So, like, what's your take on this? Are you having these issues with the men, like being bitter, the low effort, serial daters? Is it an area thing, like where you live? Like, what is happening? And why is this so hard? What's your take? Tell me in the comments. And thanks for listening.
Listing drama-free as a requirement while filming a public rant about dating grievances is a massive contradiction that screams high drama. She demands a loyal, fun, travel-ready partner while offering nothing but flaws and a history of bad judgment that she conveniently labels as settling. High-value men who are honest and fun aren't looking to rehabilitate a woman who admits she wasted her best years on bad choices. They're looking for peace, which is exactly what she refuses to provide.
So let's talk dating. Oh my word is all I can say. I'm not that bothered about date or anything, but I've dipped my toes back in, and wow, I just don't even know what to say. Is it better for any like ages, or is it just like I just can't comprehend that there are men out there like they are. It is honestly the funniest thing ever. Like, I know exactly what I want in the future. I don't want a relationship now, like not a proper relationship, but a bit of company. You know, just someone to do some nice things with would be amazing. But wow, like, is everyone having this like problem? Is this like, are we doomed? Do we, you know, where do we go from here? Like, I just can't believe, like.
Claiming to want just a bit of company without a proper relationship is a direct signal to men that the entrance fee is zero and the expectations are even lower. It's rich that she's confused by the lack of quality when she's explicitly advertising herself as a temporary recreational utility rather than a serious investment. High-value men don't sign up to be emotional placeholders. They build families, leaving her with the exact trash she deserves for treating intimacy like a casual hobby.
I think one of the messages I got once was, this is actually like full-on facts. Hi. I put, hi. Can I see your pussy? Like, what is that? What, like, do men actually think that that is something that women want to hear? And I was just like, so I actually told him off. I actually said, if I knew your mother, I would send this to your mother. That is like disgusting, basically. But yeah, it's just, yeah, hopefully I'll just meet the man of my dreams out in the world when I'm ready. But as I said, I really am not looking for a full-blown relationship or anything like that. I'm just having fun. And it is fun. I'm finding me again, actually, and I like me. I'm finding me. I'm on a glow up inside and out and just having a good time. So I'm just dipping my toes back in. But it is so funny and just so like, oh, really? Like, thought I'd try that. So, yeah.
Feigning shock at a crude message while swimming in the sewer of casual dating proves she has zero self-awareness about the vibe she projects. Threatening to tell a stranger's mother is the behavior of a scold, not a woman of status who would simply delete and move on. Fantasizing about a dream man appearing in the wild while currently finding herself is just a comforting lie to mask the reality that she's chaotic, unready, and actively repelling any man looking for a grown-up partner.
Got stood up on a date one time over kind of like lockdown. It was just as we were coming out of it. I think you were allowed to go for a coffee or something. So I had matched with this guy on Tinder and we were chatting away. He was Australian, allegedly. I'll tell you why I say allegedly in a minute. And everything was going swimmingly. We've agreed to go out. The morning of, he is still messaging me. And then I think we've agreed to go out or meet at like 5 or something. And then the afternoon rolls around and it's like getting ready time. And I like people to acknowledge the fact that I'm getting ready. If you don't acknowledge my message saying that I'm getting ready, then I'm not going to start getting ready because I don't want to start getting ready. If you're not ready, I don't want to start getting ready. If in this instance, you are ghosting me, do you know what I mean? So he didn't reply. Can't remember if I sent a follow up because it was such a long time ago, but just kind of assumed at this point, I'm being ghosted, I'm being stood up. Perfect. So I got myself ready anyway. And I took myself on a little stroll. It was a lovely afternoon. It was summertime. I think I picked up 2 tinnies from the corner shop because Gal was going through it a little bit, but I was trying to not be sad, you know? So I picked up 2 tinnies. I went on a little stroll. I sat on a bench, sat with my thoughts for a minute.
Demanding a man acknowledge the makeup routine before lifting a finger is pure narcissism masquerading as a boundary. It's not a date in her mind, it's a transaction where he must prepay with attention before she delivers the product. Ending up drunk on a park bench alone isn't a vibe, it's a pathetic visual representation of exactly what happens when entitlement meets reality.
And yeah, the reason why I said allegedly Australian is because I now believe this man was a catfish. And I have kind of no reason to believe that other than the fact that he stood me up, which a lot of men seem to be doing these days, even now. But yeah, I just don't know. Just looking back, I'm like, I don't actually know how real this man was. And then, so he never followed up like that day or the day after. And then months later, he messages me some fucking sob story about his granddad being ill back in Australia. And I'm like, right, not really relevant though, is it? Because you're in the UK
it was lockdown, you couldn't get home to him, so you've blown off a date because your granddad, however many thousands of miles away, is poorly. And it took you months to tell me that. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't add up at all. So yeah, I'm now thinking catfish. It just wasn't so easy to tell back then. But he was, what was he called? Tyler, I believe. He had like a little porn star tash. Australian, if he even exists. I don't fucking know. But yeah, anyway.
Inventing a catfish conspiracy theory is the standard coping mechanism used to avoid facing the simple truth that he just lost interest. Rejection stings, so the mind fabricates a fake identity for him, rather than admitting he existed but found a better option. Mocking a family emergency, real or not, just highlights the callous toxicity that likely drove him away in the first place.
Hey, yo, look, I just be genuinely confused. Y'all, do men want a family? What's the end goal? What's the end goal for them? What are they trying to do? Pushing 30 plus, not looking for anything serious. What? Not looking for anything serious. Literally looking for not anything serious. Men don't have morals. Men don't have God. Men don't fear God. They don't care where they go. They don't care where they go. Fake cross holders. They hold the cross for fake. How are you really over 30 though you really don't want a family? Like, this is just genuine question. You don't want one. You don't want one.
Men absolutely want families. They just don't want to build a legacy with a woman who weaponizes God to shame them into compliance. When a man over 30 tells you he isn't looking for anything serious, there is always a silent "with you" attached to the end of that sentence. He isn't rejecting the concept of fatherhood, he is rejecting the specific nightmare of co-parenting with a woman who equates her own rejection with his moral damnation. You aren't a victim of a godless generation, you are simply a bad investment that serious men have vetted and correctly declined.
I'm trying to get back into dating, and I had a date scheduled for tonight, and he texted me this afternoon to let me know that he had gotten sick over the weekend and wanted to reschedule for later this week. And honestly, I was thrilled because now I get to eat a burrito and finish watching this Netflix His and Hers series. I really want to meet the love of my life, but how am I supposed to do that when I'm thrilled at the prospect of staying home alone with a burrito? Riddle me that. Since he did text me like 7 hours before our date, I mean, I think I will allow him to reschedule, but I was praying he would cancel because I just wasn't feeling it tonight. And like, how am I supposed to, I need to practice dating. I guess I just need to practice dating because I hate meeting somebody that I don't already know, you know, in like a romantic sense. I'll update you guys on how the date goes.
Celebrating a cancellation so you can rot on the couch with a burrito exposes that you value immediate comfort over any long-term goal. Claiming to want the love of your life while treating potential partners as inconveniences to your Netflix schedule is the definition of self-sabotage. You aren't practicing dating, you're wasting people's time while you hide from the reality that you're too lazy to be a wife. Men aren't training dummies for your social anxiety, and your relief at being alone proves you've already chosen your partner. Solitude and snacks.
So if this isn't what describes dating in your 30s, I must really be doing it wrong because I met this gentleman on Hinge. We went to a brewery this past week, and thank God my friend Susie works there and she can bear testament to this. But basically we're yapping. It's fine. I'm like, okay, I'm not like smitten, but it's not a hard no. So I will consider a second date. But we keep going, and he's like, oh, do you want kids? And I'm like, no, not really. Like, I'm not sold on that for me. And he proceeded to say, I don't really think that, and that he wants kids in the next 2 years. It's like, oh, okay. So, like, and that basically when I'm 55 and don't have children, I'm going to regret it. And when I tell you my flabbers were gasted, I was like, okay, well, I don't necessarily believe that, but like, okay, pop off king. So then we left, and he definitely wanted to smooch, and I was like, we're not gonna smooch. And so then I left. By the time I got home, I had a text message from him being like, I really felt the spark and I feel like we should explore it. Is that what dating is? We disagree on a fundamental thing you should agree on to proceed in any sort of relationship, and we're all just so like, I can ignore it. Sir, there was no spark. None whatsoever.
Men only ignore fundamental deal breakers like children when they have absolutely no intention of keeping you around long enough for those issues to matter. He wasn't delusional about a spark. He was just shotgunning a generic text to see if he could still salvage a hookup from a dead-end date. You think you're observing male stupidity, but you're actually just seeing exactly how little he respected you. He heard no kids and stayed because he saw a body, not a future.